I'm gonna introduce our project now. I'm Sarita Zadare.
My name is Dano Ko.
My name is Kato Urara.
My name is Yoichi Origuchi.
Thank you.
I explain about Japanese tea. Sado is known as the Japanese tea ceremony in the world. She was introduced to Japan via books in the mid-8th century. Then monks imported tea from China, and it has been evolved and revitalized gradually in Japan.
どうもくんごめん、ちょっと待って。
はい。
問題発生。あれリモコンだよ。リモコン
いきます。
もう一回最初から行く？
いや、
No?
それからで。From this point, tea ceremony is strongly associated with the value of Zen. In the 16th century, Zen no Rikyu gave Sado its final form. For more than 400 years since that time, Sado has been part of Japanese people's life, giving them spiritual richness and pleasure.
I explain about tea ceremony. Sado is a ceremony of serving and having tea. The tea used for sado is called matcha and it is green powder. Usually, a host invites similar guests to a small room and serves matcha green tea. Japanese sweets called ojagashi. These sweets are served with green tea.
I explain about tea house. Tea room use tatami module. The elements of tea room are tatami module, sunken hearth, low ceiling, light and shadow, small windows, and we have focused on logi, nijiguchi, low tatami on this project.
I will talk about the concept of our project. So the concept of our project is to explore the purifying and spiritual power of the water. Therefore, we make a new interpretation of the tea house elements through the water, to the use of water in architecture. So there's a quick scheme of the development of our project. First, our starting point is the tea house as a cube with a roof. We take off the roofing and create an open space. We also break from the closed walls idea. We keep the tatami model as the heart of our project. We finally distribute wooden sticks all around the perimeter. And now we finally have a permeable wild private space. This is the, sorry. Go back. Oh. So skip. project is finally set in a different ground level, and it's surrounded by waterfalls all around.
This is external view. So we designed this Tearoom in front of this campus next to library. So Tearoom should be quiet and privacy area, but campus is noisy and public area. So we use level difference for separated public and privacy.
This is water pass view. When you down the stairs, you can experience a transition from public area to private area. And on both sides of stairs, there is waterfall, and you can hear natural sounds and relax.
Internal view. When we enter the room, we can hear the natural sounds and see the contrast between light and shadow. They make spiritual space.
This is the top view. We can see clearly This is the top view. We can see clearly the contrast and the light and shadow, the dark and light, and it works according to the sunlight. We also experience water falling all around, so the sounds contribute to the feeling inside the constructions. And the sky is also a natural element that compose the project. This is the section scale of our project. Thank you.
Okay, so let's do the questions at the end. Okay, everybody together? Is it okay? So next group. I'm working, we won't have enough time. Okay guys, so now we're gonna do the second group.
Good afternoon. My name
It's working, yes.
My name is Flavia. This is Semi and this is Shota. Our project called CQ. So the first thing that comes to our mind.
No, it's not on. Turn on the mic.
Now,
That's my set.
now.
That's better.
Okay. So the first thing that comes to our mind when we think about a tea house is a tatami, a type of mat used in traditional Japanese style rooms. We choose a standard tatami size, which 1.82 per 0.91 meters. Two tatami form a square, so we decided to use the same size for the height, and we got a cube. Each cube represents a tea room. Developing this idea and recovering the performance of the magic cube, we choose to stack up small parts to get this form. From this, we started to deconstruct parts of the cube to create complex relations and obtain more architectural qualities. So that's how we got this form. Possible combinations allows first, use of natural lighting. Second, efficient cross ventilation. Third, create new perspectives to users or new experiences. Fourth, configure a sculpture object. And fifth, makes a study of the shadows from the surroundings building to make sure we have light for the tea rooms. And shadow study. The graphics shows on the orange background we have summer solstice in the morning and in the afternoon. On white background we have autumn and spring equinox, also in the morning and in the afternoon. And finally, on the gray background we have winter solstice in the morning and in the afternoon. So according to the positioning of the building on the ground, we can see that none of the shadows interfere directly with the tea room. So we can explore irrestrictedly the position and configuration of the tea houses.
I explain tea ceremony the five senses briefly. One, enter the tea room. And two, eat the tea cakes. Three, drink the tea. Four, leave the tea room. We have the five senses: sight, smell, taste, touch, and hearing. The tea ceremony can be enjoyed by the five senses. So we use the five senses for our tea house. I explain them. There are steps around the tea house. And water comes down from the top of steps. And when you enter our tea house, you can see water and steps around our tea house. Then you can feel the coolness and enjoy our tea house by the visual. When you eat the tea cake and drink the tea, you can enjoy them not only by smell and taste, but also by touch and hearing at our tea house. Because you can touch the tree and items for tea ceremony. And the steps in the water fountains. It makes a beautiful sound of water. When you leave our tea house, you can see the water and steps again. And you will feel that they are nice.
The wall, door, floor panels are all made of the same module based on tatami. The panels are provisional and able to be easily removed. We attach the panels to the frame to make the tea rooms. One panel can be moved by two persons. We attach them on the leg of the frame, like Japanese sliding door, fusuma, or shoji. This is a plan, an example of tea room position. This is the ground floor. This is the ground floor plan. And second floor. And third floor. This is axonometric ground floor plan. The entrance is made in 3 directions, so it can correspond to various tea room positions. And there is 3 tea rooms. And second floor, there is 1 tea room. And This is third floor. There is 3 tea rooms. And there is total 7 rooms. And stairs are also removable, so we can move them according to the tea room position. This is perspective section. We can attach the panels anywhere we like, so we can make various patterns of the tea rooms and enjoy different views for each season. And some walls are glass, and we can see outside.
Some external walls are made. Some external walls are made by glass, so someone that are outside walking, passing, can see inside. And the walls inside of the cube are made by paper, rice. Yeah. And on the second floor, for example, we have situations like the third floor. We have the left corner up. We have a kind of a balcony that only who are inside of the tea space can achieve this space. So that's it. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so next group is, there's a bottom that I want to next one. Seguir. Come on. Gente, quem é o próximo? Câmera lá. This one not so much. Okay. So, wait. Which one is yours? Okay, who's gonna drive the tour? Let me know. パソコン欲しいじゃないでしょ。Can you? Okay. I'll take pictures of it. Okay, guys. What's the problem? Okay, guys, so let's go. Third group. Gente, vamos, gente. Okay, guys, go on.
Then I will start the presentation for the ceremony. First, I explain about just two. The room is for serving and having Japanese tea, and sometimes annex room for tea ceremony. For example, roasting space, waiting space, are included in the tea room. All the ceremony procedures such as how to enter the room and prepare tea and so both are decided to be done vigorously and without unnecessary movement. This picture shows the site for Tearoom. It is surrounded by 4 buildings like this. Akashi College main building, bicycle parking, and library. We suggest 3 small architectures for tea ceremony. They are Tearoom, it means kitchen for tea ceremony, and wedding stage. First, this comes from this side. And wait to start the tea ceremony and waiting room area. When first finished to prepare for tea ceremony and the kitchen section, guests walk this road between the 2 hills. This ceremony is started in this tea in the main Tearoom. We make the concept open scene. It means developing new ideas based on study of the part, learning from the part, talking a lesson from the wisdom of ancient.
So after we defined our concept, our next step was to analyze traditional. Now, okay. So after we defined the concept, our next step was to analyze traditional Japanese tea room and highlight some elements that we consider more important, and we would like to maintain and have in our design, our tea room design. The first one is the modulation based on the tatami, from which the dimensions define the tea room size. The second element is the light that falls indirectly into the internal space of the tea room and provides a light and shadow effect. The next element is the guest entrance that is small and low, so everyone must stoop to go through, and it's a symbolic gesture of humility. The next element is the host entrance that is a full-size door the host uses to enter and exit the tea room carrying the utensils. And the last element is the different ceiling heights that occur according to the different uses of the tea room. For example, the ceiling is lower where people sit and higher where people stand.
It's a tea ceremony room with a completely new shape that we propose. What is seen from outside, it's a cool, but many wooden sticks are hung on inside. The first point is tatami module. Tea ceremony is performed on tatami. A tea ceremony room is made with side added to that. The point that also changes with this suggestion. For you, the suggestion also designs the height of the tea ceremony room is module of tatami. The second point is light and influence of shadow. In this suggestion, many sticks are to hang down and light reflected and curved by them. Every time, light and shadow change the shape. And every season, every time, every day, the tea ceremony room shows a different face. The third is guest entrance. Guest entrance is called by Nijiriguchi. Guest front door is, Nijiriguchi is front of the building. The first point is post entrance. There is a front door of the post inside in a building. This is also connected with the kitchen. Host often brings the tea, so this entrance is taller than the Nijiriguchi. The last point is height of the different ceilings. A person does various behavior by tea ceremony, and the height of the person also changes altogether. Person changes in a tea ceremony and three, squatting, standing, and sitting. The sitting of Tearoom is height added the movement. This is the plan. The upper side is the Nijiriguchi on north side. There are some space as sticks of ceiling reach the floor in the space where nobody will use them. It's a section. I also said a short while ago, but the height of ceiling is changing in three-dimensional way. The cube leaf in the ceiling is also connected with the outside small cube. Next, this is landscape design. We designed some small mounds. The mounds obstruct view and hide the Tearoom from the roof, from main roads. Students can take a rest, eat lunch, have a picnic, and more. The diagram shows the cube line connected to the landscape on the outside. This is the exterior part. Even if seen from the outside, this Tearoom has many varieties. A cherry blossom will be in spring, and colored leaves will be beautiful, including reflection in a Tearoom in autumn. Light breaks in the evening and fantastic space is produced. Interior path. It can be said that it has a good view seen from outside in Akashi College, but you'd be able to see small changes big by looking temporary and find much surprising in scenery which isn't casting. It's good. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to move the sound. Wait. OK を見てください。This one is insane. It's really, really cool. Okay, next group. Okay, guys, before everybody follows the rules, hurry up. It's working really bad, but it's working.
Hello everyone. We designed the tea house with overseas students from Brazil. Do you know what is the most famous difficulties through this work? Make drawing, make present. Note, this is very most difficult is communication. Experiment as to design tea house immediately. So we've studied to know each other. That's cause to know about each country at the same time. So the concept is made from that. Brazil and Japan have sports drinking. Brazil have cafe. Japan have hut, tea room. They have many differences of future. First, in Japan, people drink green tea. In cafe, people drink coffee, tea, and eat something. Second, tea room is in shade. Sunlight can't enter into the room directly, so that is very dark. Cafe is very light, and sunlight is enter directly. And tea room is very silent. People inside the room listen to noise of making tea, whisper of wind, pop of rain, the murmur. Cafes cover the chat, noise, shop music, noisy. It's very noisy. Like this, there are many differences. This is the diagram of Tearoom and cafe. Left is Tearoom. Like this, Japanese tea house is very dark. Sunlight can't enter directly. Light cafe. Cafe is very light. It's very light space. I explain differences. So I think next, how to make a connection. These two elements. How do we make a connection?
Let's the answers. First, the site. We need to know what exists around the site and the influence of it. For people, buildings, vegetation, and use of space give us some important information. Second point, solar orientation. In our project, the sunlight is quite important. It's a key element. At the moment we orient the project on the north-south axis, we are determining that one side will be very illuminated with direct and abundant lights, and the other side will be darker and colder. Third point, formal reference. The yin-yang synthesizes all these opposite concepts and, at the same time, united in a form that gives them balance and harmony. Fourth point, the shape. Applying all these points, we start from the pure circle, which is then divided in two equal parts. Each part is sliced to opposite side, but without losing the contact. This movement gives the identity of each space.
This point is as shown. We focus on the crucial relation about sun between Japan and Brazil. In Japan, the sun rises from the east and sets in west. The opposite is true for Brazil. So we use a circle to think of a plan tailored to the orbit of the sun. 6. About site plan. The building is surrounded by trees. 7th, ground floor. We made it by sliding on 8 meters circle in diameter. South Japanese chest, nose, Brazilian space, and read book, eat lunch. Middle section. This is Brazilian and Japanese space have different floor level 50 centimeter. The ceiling we use a wood concrete like chandelier. In just we made and go to view outside.
Let me show you how our tea house design works. This picture is Brazilian side view. As it faces south, the room catches the sun even in winter. We enjoy talking over a cup of coffee in this room. This is Japanese side view. We can see the garden from Engawa. We could feel the change of the season, and Engawa is a place for social occasion. We designed the house made by concrete and wood. We intended for combination to materials, artificial and natural. The interior of the tea house, we can feel soft light from the wood ceiling, such as sunlight filtering down through the trees. This tea house is designed for learning about the culture of both countries. I think that talking over our tea times is good communication method. You come here and you can make friends with lots of students from around the world. This is all our presentation. Thanks for listening.
Okay, guys, thanks. So next room. Okay, guys, we still have 2 to go, okay? So, okay? Go ahead. Yes. Go on.
Hello everyone. This is the object of veneration for the Japanese. It's a symbol of courtesy and hospitality. The tea is a unique kind of communication. The traditional ceremonies of tea have great historical importance in the Asian country. Being responsible for uniting generals, promoting peace and strengthening national identity. More than just a moment of tea, Japanese rituals are part of the Meridian culture. These moments, marked by simplicity and spirituality, reflect the values and beliefs of the people whose history is reflected in every part of the world. Thinking about how to start the project, we start to make questions like, well, who is this? What is the objective? When the people will use this space? And how to make all of this work? So we concluded that this space
for anyone, students, teachers, visitors, and it could be a meeting place for these different people during a daylight. Also, we wanted some place that could provide simplicity and spirituality to have a tea time with contact with nature.
Okay, next is location. The project is located in the university campus. It contemplates the entrance area where today is the solar clock. This area is between the library, the main building, and the parking. There are some pictures of the place now. The main idea is to keep the space open and permeable, generating pulse that demarcate the connection between the surrounding buildings.
So, taking this idea of creating an open and permeable space into consideration, we decided to unite the concepts of tea rooms and parklets. The parklets are continuous areas on the sidewalks, usually parking spaces, where structures are built in order to create more friendly spaces for socializing. These spaces can serve for a break, for a rest, to find a friend, to read a book, or many other things. In addition, it has the advantage of having modular components, so facilitating their installation and replication. So after doing a reference search, we find the example of this project at Teiko Heisei University Nakano campus in Tokyo. In this project, the blocks seem to grow from the floor, from the ground, in different heights, so creating an attractive space using few elements. So this simplicity combined with the modularity of the parklets, we thought about creating models that could represent tea rooms by using tatami dimensions. So it's very simple, as we can see with these diagrams. First, we take these tatami dimensions, a regular tatami with 1.8 per 0.9 meters, and we combine them to make our model. After this, we give them different heights, and give different materials for every different height, and then we copy them and move and rotate them to create different models.
So the project is an open space. Then thinking of the diversification and durability of the material, we choose 3 types of materials in four different colors, creating a composition. The height increases in the measure of steps, 0.60 meter. The first one is a concrete light colored with 0.32 meter. In the sequence is a gray concrete with 0.48 meter. The stone is 0.64 meter. And the last one is a wooden flower pot, which reached the highlight of 0.80 meter.
To locate the module in the area, we use a grid of 1.8 by 1.8 meter. Then we distribute them in a way of creating routes where people could go to the surrounding building or stay and enjoy the space. Different materials make a simple language composition in a space created by vegetation. Here we can see how the project communicates with the environment. The differences in height make the space can be used in many different ways. For example, people can sit and also use the blocks to lean against, or just like tables to put some cup of tea. Thank you for listening.
Okay, so the last group. You bring in your own computer, yes? Okay guys, so this is the last group, and then after we'll do a question section. Yes, it's okay, no problem. Go on.
So, back to the future. What do you mean when you hear the tea house? Like that, basic tea house. What image? Narrow, dark. Many tea rooms. It consists of the tea room of 2 tatami. And 次のは of 1 tatami. And カップルは of 1 tatami. And 床の間。床の間 is recessed alcove in the Japanese style room. It is a place of no. It is a place of honor where hanging scroll, vase of arranged flowers or other ornaments are displayed.
Okay, so this is the typical. This is the typical, Japanese tea house. But the fact is the Japanese also perform those tea ceremonies in outdoor. This performance called Tsurugama. And 3 bamboos are used as for me to tripod, and the teapot held for the intersection of the So this. And tempad is to help the intersection of this tripod. It creates the open atmosphere for the garden to compare it to the outdoor ceremony. Okay. This is the present Tsurugama. What is the future to Tsurugama? We would like to invite you all for the go back to the future of Tsurugama. Which is the build of Kashin College. Okay, please.
So this is our concept diagram. So what we imagine is the connection of the round. So what we imagine is the round, the round movement, and come back down, and then going up, and then going around again. So this is our concept, that concept diagram, and we turn that into the building. So this is what it look like. So and then we turn it into a real building, which is this one. So you can see that the tripod, we enlarge the tripod, and from the section we hang the teapot, and then people inside they enjoying the tea. So and with the enclosure of the wood to enclosing the tripod, which creating a kind of openness while also closing the space.
Okay, this is our side, and this direction is now there is our school building. Here is the entrance to Tearoom. We go down front and enjoy a cup of tea in this circle in the town tea house. And this space is enclosed by opening student scheme, which creates an opening skyline like this. And next, we go up the slope to the ground and up to the stair to enjoy one more cup of tea in up to tea house. Up the house. This creates an up and down movement with constant changing of public and private.
Thank you for listening. So this is the end of our presentation. Thank you very much.
Okay, guys. So now let's do a quick questions and answers. Does anyone have any question? 日本語でもいいし、português pode ser também. I'll translate. Any questions? John! John, I know you're here. Do you have any comments? Okay, so John wants the questions first. みんな質問ないの？何でもいいよ。どんなソフトを使って指示が作れるとか、何でもいいですよ。気になることがありませんでしょう。 Probably the first one, John. Go first.
All right, so if I make a question, you guys promise you'll make questions after that? Say yes. Okay, so actually, let's see, the very first presentation, using the water, I was imagining many different uses of water, and there's two kinds. One that sounds natural, one does not sound natural. Not sounding natural would be if you actually had a water fountain, right? And natural would be, as you guys suggested, the waterfall falling naturally. But there is, as you said, a lot of noise around here. So would you provide some way for the waterfall to fall faster or louder? Or is it necessary? What about that kind of idea? How can you drown out the public noise with the natural sound?
Do you need translation?
No, I understood.
You understood? Okay, nice. So I don't need to translate. だから水の音が聞こえないので、それでどう考えたかっていうすごいまとめた話。はい。We
actually didn't really develop very deeply this idea of the sounds, but the water is not just for the natural sounds, it makes like the view around falling, and we can see from the permeable wooden sticks around, so it's not only the sound that works for our project, and the sky is also a natural element that we want to explore. But thank you for your contribution.
Okay, next question.
Questions? Anterior. Anterior. Hi. Negata. Hi.いや、気になったこと、一緒にやってとか、もっと基本的に知ってもらえるよ。日本語でもいいし、英語でも頑張ってください。
一緒にやって一番難しかったことは何なんですか？
じゃあこれ日本人の学生に答えてもらおうか。Ele perguntou de trabalhar junto o que foi mais difícil. 誰が答え？じゃあダノ君、はい。目が合うと怖いのね。はい、どうぞ。一緒にやって何が難しかったかって。
一緒にやって一番難しかったことは、コミュニケーションはもちろんなんですけども、リーダーがめちゃくちゃ仕事できる人で、多分全体のマジで7割ぐらいをリーダーに任せっきりにしちゃったので、ちょっとジャンプはもうちょっとしっかりしないとなっていうのを心の底から思いました。以上です。
じゃあここで決めた。
あ、切れちゃった。
1年生心の準備して次行きますよ。はい。後で戻るよ。考えてみて。じゃあ先生コメント。
I'm sorry I couldn't have an opportunity to contact you. So I have one question. So before coming to Japan and now, so comparing the impression of the Tearoom was changed or not? So your impression for the Tearoom.
Antes de vir para o Japão e depois, se a impressão que vocês têm da casa de chá mudou. Boa impressão do Jacó para vocês. Quem quer falar? Antes de vir e depois. Vai lá, Eleazar, vai lá. Vai. Liga e fala. Ok.
Alô, som. Antes de empurrar a bola, não tinha
Aí, ó, vai, português, vai.
Antes de empurrar a bola, não tinha a minha medalha, que era na casa do Chaco. Então, vim aqui e estava conversando com meus colegas que achei bem legal o exercício, porque dá base para bastante coisa e a gente consegue desenvolver bastante coisa. É bem flexível.
日本に来るまでは茶室っていう概念自体知らなくて、で茶室のワークショップを通していろいろ学ぶことができた。すごいサッカー選手っぽかったの喋り方ですね。はい、じゃあ2年生。質問をいつも。
茶室を作るときにコンセプトを考えると思うんですけど、コンセプト考え方
どうやって思いつく？
一番重要視したことは何ですか？
Okay. So he's asking how did you discover your concept for the Tearoom? Como é que vocês chegaram ao conceito? So, time. はい、両方できるから両方でやってください。
コンセプトを考えるにあたって、
そう、どうやってそれにたどり着いたか。
バックトゥザフューチャー。
バックトゥザフューチャー。
そうそう、バックトゥザフューチャー。
僕大体例えば今回の茶室の作る時になんか今まであるものとなんかそうじゃなくて、もしこれが一歩先に進化した時にどういう形になるかなっていうのを考えて、結論的になんですかね、世界三角のものにそうですね、次になりました。So he asked what's the when you're forming the concept for your architectural project. So what's the process of making the concept? So for my team, the project name is Back to the Future. So our thinking process was so we thinking of what we have now, and we said that if what we have now actually progress into the future, what kind of form can develop. So we actually want to go to the future and come back. So that's our process.
Okay, so let's do a last question. I promised that I would pick up on first year, so Hirata-kun.
建物をこれを考えるときにどれぐらいの時間がかかってこのプレゼンテーションできるぐらいになったのかを知りたいです。
はい。これ誰が答えてくれる？Ele está perguntando quanto tempo levou para projetar e fazer toda a apresentação.
私たちのグループは円を半分に分割してスライドさせて作ってたところのグループなんですけど、私たちは授業時間7コマ 7コマ分ぐらいの授業時間内でコンセプトを決めるところからどういうプレゼン作っていくかっていうところを相談してで、ある程度それぞれ持ち帰っての作業をしたところもありますが基本的には7コマ分ぐらいで頑張って作りました。
皆さんもそのうちできるようになります。はい、じゃあそしたら、você tem alguma pergunta, galera? Desculpa. Hã? Ah, eu esqueci de dizer. Depois ela disse que levou, she said it took 7 classes to finish the work. So it's 90 minutes each class, and you did some work at home, but basically you used only the class time to do all that. そしたら John, you look like you're going to ask something. No? Sure? You cool? You want to do the comment? Yeah, sorry.
Okay, so we've been doing this a couple of years, and I always like coming to this particular event when Brazilian students come over and work with our students. I really hope that one of these years that we adopt one of those designs and do something with that area that's out there. There's so many cool ideas that come across, and today's no exception. You all did really great. Every design was very creative, inspirational, and I like them all for different reasons. I think today there were 3 that were touching on the really traditional aspects of both cultures and the tea rooms in general. And as someone going to a tea ceremony, I might be drawn to, for example, the first one, the third one, the fourth one in particular have very traditional aspects of draw you to the tea ceremony itself. The second one, the fifth one, the sixth one have really great aesthetic qualities that make a statement. We were to put them where it is, for example, the Rubik's Cube looking design, or the fifth one reminded me of a really nice park with kind of a theme that's similar to our gate theme, where we have the different types of sections for the gate that actually symbolize each department of the school. I thought that was cool. And if we actually had the Tsurigami statue or structure, that would say, when people coming by would be like really drawn to that. So I think that really makes a statement and adds beauty to the campus. So all of them were very impressive. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your comments. And guys, once more, another hakshu for the 15-year jubilee. You did great. And that's it. It's finished. So, アンケートを回収します。で、アンケートはグリーンボックスに入れてください。で、建築士のレポートはブルーボックス。